Hello everybody, so I'm gonna give it a try again, doing a tour here on Lugar da Terra. We are in spring 2024, which is a special year, some say. Well, definitely looks special here because everything is back in leaf, and I'm very excited to show you around. I wanted to share with you something interesting we lately have success with, the companion planting here of these leeks. So we're planting 3 leeks here in a hole, and every 20 centimeters you see 3 dents. Then there was already a lot of mint in this bed, which was repressed when we put it to compost, make sure it wouldn't come back too fast. And then we planted the chard in the leeks, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the crops that we planted in this bed. But it all looks pretty amazing. They all come along really nice, and there's some really cool natural blanching effects of the leeks, as you can see, because they're getting this chard on the side. Now we're already starting to put more and more perennials in the system. So we have banana, we have canna edulis, which is a really beautiful tuber, edible potato tuber. And we grow here lots of beans and mountain spinach. Mountain spinach is going to seed, as you can see. And yeah, what I wanted to show you in this tour is mainly what's going on, of course, but I've got something interesting in a bit when we go to the downland. I'll show you how we are growing actually without irrigation. I just planted some yacon here, and I also have yacon already a bit bigger right in this bed. And it's mixed with corn, yacon, and there's already coming a lot of amaranth we will use for our food forest mix. It looks beautiful, and then I put a row of beans in the front. Well, to give you an idea of the insanity of how we use the companion planting method, there's also zucchini here, and it looks like I gotta make a decision whether I want the zucchini here or I want the other things. And it looks like the zucchini might actually just be down there waiting, or just die back, because all the other plants are growing so nicely. We also direct seeded lettuce. You can see there are not many lettuces coming. They are there, but it's obviously dominated by the beans, corn and the yacon that were already a little earlier in the bed. So the only voluntary plant here is the red amaranth. I knew it would come because those seeds are in the soil here, and we will manage them accordingly, using them as we need them, and if there are too many, we'll take them out. So some carrots here, really beautiful carrots. I'll show you one. We're already harvesting from the bed. We see, it's always a bit of a guess, right? Which one will we take? This one looks nice. And yeah, amazing to see the carrots always. I'm really happy when they establish, because it's difficult to get them established. And here you go. One thing I wanted to share about this bed before we go down. This is just an ordinary beetroot plantation. You see, not so ordinary anymore. They're getting huge, these beets. And there's a borage that was not there when we planted the beets, but now it's huge. So we're 4 months into it. 4 months starting with a clean bed and beetroots, baby beetroots. And now we get lots of grasses. And what I wanted to show you about this is that it's not just weeds. It just should be something else. In my opinion, you shouldn't call it the weeds that are dominating here in this bed, you should look at this huge array of solar panels doing the photosynthesis, bringing all the sugars from the sunlight into this bed. So you can imagine I could have harvested all these, or harvest the beets and at the same time clean the bed, but we are gradually harvesting our beetroots from this bed. So at a certain point there are areas in the bed that are empty. Now logistically for us it's not so easy to just start transplanting new plants in that bed, because they will have a different timing getting ready and all that. But now in the last months that we have been harvesting these beets, there's all these other plants establishing. Now I literally look at them as a welcome resource. So there's, besides the photosynthesis they're doing now, a lot of organic matter and biomass accumulated, which we then can use for our next plantation. So when these beetroots are out, we will restart the bed simply by mowing it all down, putting it all on the top of the bed, putting some extra compost and plant again. That's basically the way you can manage these things. So of course you can remove everything and give it to the chickens or to your compost piles. It depends on what situation you have and what you prefer. But in general, I'd like to return everything back from where it came from. Now we have outdoor taro. This is cool. We are in May. These plants have literally survived the winter, and they have now a whole summer ahead of them. If I give them plenty of water, which I might not, because let's see how much we will have this summer, they would get very big. So I'll give you a sneak peek into the tunnel. Very wild. A lot of nice established lettuce, direct seeded, little jam lettuce. And we have here kale, and we have levisticum with plenty of mustard, which already goes to seed, and some of the dandelion family. Now we have here a lot of reeds, not so funny, and then a lot of levisticum again with giant garlic in the middle. You can see them over here. The reeds are a problem because we have an indoor space, and if it would be outdoor I would happily chop and drop it, but here it's not so easy as the wall comes quite close. This is a prototype tunnel of ours, which makes the new tunnel have a taller side, so it would be way easier to manage. But anyway, management with plastic is always more complex being on the outside in the wild. So now I will bring down, here we have some nice wild nasturtiums, famous edible flower, really healthy actually. I've been reading some PDFs on health benefits and they're super healthy. Don't know why, what for, but I remember there were several health topics. Now we have here willow right at the edge of our pond. Pond is, you can see the water still. The green water with the plants on the water. And these willows are edging here this little south facing, so the south is over there, but we had a hill that was all the way north facing, and we carved the pond out and made a south facing hill here, which is rather funny if you're thinking about how that actually now functions, as the hydrology is completely changed. So it's a questionable choice that we did that, but we had a very steep slope here, and we wanted to catch all the water that came from all over the land. So all over the land, everything ends up here. You can see the willows, they're loving it. Now, having said that, this area here is actually pretty dry. because we have compacted it with a lots of clay, and so the pond water would hold. But this area actually is a bit artificial in a sense. So it's already a wonder. So I'm sure that these roots might not have reached the the moist from the pond over there. This will take a while. That will work probably with trees in the future. Now, I wanted to show you this because this is super interesting for me, and for anybody in the syntropic agroforestry world. We not irrigating here. There's a tree line. I will show you. We did that in November. It's very recently been chopped down, or chopped some of the, let's say, supportive crops, which was in this case celery, and this one was planted in March. So here we did a completely different thing. We used different plants. Now we use a lot of the cactus leaf, the Barbary fig leaf, to hold that water. We planted lots of cosmos on the back, and we direct seeded broccoli. You can see here poplars by cutting, peas, willow, like this one, lots of corn, comfrey. I don't recall seeding here anything, planting here anything as a plant. So everything was direct seeded. Of course, the cuttings are not seeds, but it thrives since March, and we're now in May, on rainwater. We've got taro coming along. There's probably things I cannot show you. There's salt bush right in there, Atriplex, and there's lots of tree seeds in here. So I'm really curious how this all develops. Corn looks beautiful, and again, all this on rainwater. So we have had quite a lot of luck in that sense, because it was really starting to rain right the day after we installed this line. Yeah, I'm going up close for you to see it. While I'm actually thinking of all the things I can talk to you about it, you can see here humidity and right away all that life when I pull back the knobs. Look at that. Pretty amazing. Just because you layer moisture on top of the soil, keeping the moisture and the life. Now all the plants here, again, were direct seeded, and we're now in May, beginning of May. I'm really curious how this corn, cosmos, and broccolis, and all will form the placenta. We got a banana coming here, and will help the tree seeds to awaken and come along as well. And there's some New Zealand spinach here. The question is, of course, what trees will come? This is obviously a tree. And this is for the pros that recognize everything, because I'm not recognizing it. Could it be moringa? Could it be? Yes, it could be, because we did put moringa seed. But now you can see here, Ramona, poplars. So you can see they're super small still, but you know, I'm really planning on not watering this, although it sounds a little cruel if you think about the pond right next to it. So it will take a while, and I'll tell you, this is about 2 meters before they even at the level of the pond. At the moment the pond is lowering rapidly, So before those tree roots and maybe corn reach that moisture layer below, they're still depending on the moisture from the night and the moisture from the rain. Now I should really come back here in the middle of the night, see how that moisture is being captured when the sky gets dark, everything cools down, and there's all that condensation on the leaf. Now look at this poplar since November. Big mistake we did in this line, we didn't add enough seeds. So the most obvious thing that grows here is chestnut everywhere, and poplars. We didn't add enough seed. What we did recently do here is we chopped down all these celery plants. You can see them everywhere. They were really densely planted all along. It's pretty interesting. You can see how we actually have used it as mulch because we had an abundance of it. Funny thing, you're starting to mulch with food, which is okay because we're managing an abundant system and we're looking at it without discrimination. We could literally eat grass, but we don't like to eat grass. We do like to eat celery. Funny thing to think about it like that. Anyway, this is an interesting development. There is still moisture in there as well. We did a bad job mulching this side. You can see that it should have been much thicker. And this place is also a little bit more in the sunny area, a little bit higher up. But yeah, no water, no irrigation. Since November, we're now in May. It is established, that's for sure. Too bad we didn't add those seeds in the beginning. So the next step here would be treating this line similarly in relation to all those Barbary fig leaves. We have more from a neighbor. And another thing that we really would like to be doing is adding lots more seeds and diversity and cuttings. So we have added more than only chestnut and poplars and willows, but not much is coming. You can see here and then an occasional pumpkin, and but we didn't add that many, and that's what you're seeing now. A little bit of this, the mountain spinach, the comfrey really nice on the edge. It all established, you can see it everywhere. And they need chop and drop at a certain point, but they are there to basically add an interesting barrier for potential invasive grasses in the future that would come from here. They're not really present here, there's just normal grasses, and they're not really traveling happily. So they're more like with clumping grasses and crawling grasses, I guess, how you call that. Anyway, wanna try to show you a bit the mulch source. Acacia was that in this case. And here we go to an ulmeidu right here, which is not really the mulch. This is the nespre or loquat. And we're going now into the pine forest. So this video is getting pretty long. I'll try to get to the midland and show that to you in another video. Thanks for watching.